We help contractors by the hundreds with all of the administrative burdens that surround handling their construction projects. That means helping them with Xactimate estimating, working with them on all the administration of their supplements, and doing the administrative services back office work that enables them to focus on selling, building, and billing.
We see contractors just starting off, maybe they're struggling with the fundamentals of running a construction business. They partner up with us, their process is now defined, they're able to grow their profit margins and actually scale because they're not held back with the burden of dealing with the supplementing process. I feel proud of what we've been able to do in this industry.
This is Larry Bache with the Merlin Law Group, helping policyholders for more than 30 years. If you have a claim or your client has a claim that needs help, please feel free to call the Merlin Law Group because we are the true policyholder advocate.
C3 was eager to help us, and even whenever we weren't giving them work, they were still eager to give advice. The things that they were putting out for the for changing from DMO to RFG and giving that to the industry and not charging anything for it, I thought was really cool. And that's stuff that I as a contractor appreciate. I'd recommend C3 to any contractor that's looking for a PA, especially if you're around Colorado. Great guys, man. I'm nothing but happy with the work they've done for us.
What's up, everybody? Lead meteorologist Sean Choquette here for our daily hail forecast, sponsored as always by C3 Group, Merlin Law Group, and RS Supplement and Balance Claims. You can check them out in the description below if you're watching us here on Facebook as always. So, of course, the main reason why you guys are here is right there in the title. We finally have a chance at some real hail today across the Colorado Front Range. I know this season's been pretty slow to start for Colorado. Typically you see the season wake up at the end of May, but here we are towards the tail end of June. I guess better late than never. Hopefully we will see the Front Range really wake up. Possibly some big hail today. We'll break it down for you across that Front Range. Big hail is also possible across the northern Illinois area and over by Chicago. We'll talk about that as well. Finally, be watching this weekend for more multiple hail risks possible, especially on Saturday. So we're going to jump right in to that forecast for today. Here's the big overview look of it all. We have that chance for hail here across Colorado. That's where my highlighted most significant chance for hail is going to be along that Colorado Front Range, starting only in a couple hours after about 1 o'clock or so mountain time, so about 2 o'clock central time, 3 o'clock eastern time. Could see that moderate chance of hail, and I do have red in here, possibly upwards over of 2 inches in diameter, maybe south side of the Denver area down through about Colorado Springs, over by Pueblo. We'll talk about that in just a second. Also, we do have a chance for storms. This will be later in the evening across Kansas, where we could see the storms pretty much move across Colorado and then trigger more activity in the overnight hours after probably about 9 or 10 o'clock, especially along central Kansas, then possibly even as far east towards Kansas City. Got that low chance for Kansas City. I really don't think too much is going to happen here. And then the other area that we're really focusing in on is across northern Illinois. There is quite a bit of rain right now in Chicago, so I have some uncertainty, and so I got that low chance for hail across Chicago itself, though higher back where they're already getting some sunlight, some heating in the day. Moderate chance for Davenport, could see upwards of golf ball size hail, and that extends all the way into Ohio, where we could see some storms as well. Low chance for Detroit and Cleveland as well. So we're going to zoom in a little bit. We're going to focus right in here on the Front Range. This is where, again, the most significant area. Got to zoom in a little bit, break it down a little bit more, and pretty much I-25, if you're from the Wyoming border down to just south of Colorado Springs, that I think is going to be a real focus for the storms today. They're going to do typically what we see here in Colorado, hence the really sharp cutoff. I tried to bring it right along the mountain range. The storm is going to roll off the mountains like you typically see in Colorado and pretty much blow up over a lot of population. You don't live in Colorado, you know that the majority of the Colorado's population is pretty much right along here. So we have those storms likely. I think the best chance is going to be, again, just south of Denver proper, places like Centennial, Aurora, Littleton, areas that see hail pretty frequently. That I think that's where a lot of storms are going to form, and then over by Colorado Springs as well. And then the biggest hail size is likely over by the Colorado Springs area could possibly flirt with tennis ball size hail. Let's see. Otherwise, upwards of golf ball size hail. Again, I think there'll be multiple rounds of storms that move through here. Any of the strongest ones could see up to golf ball size hail. And again, much like Colorado, you see only hail falling. So it's going to be a ton of hail falling with this. Again, moderate chance from Fort Collins to Denver to Colorado Springs. Low chance, Pueblo, I think it's going to be just north of you. And then low chance in Cheyenne, where it's going to be just south of you. So timeline for this for Denver and Colorado Springs, put it all together here in the I-25 corridor between 1 o'clock Mountain Time to about 7 p.m. Mountain Time. So it's an earlier event. It's not going to be in the overnight hours or anything. This will probably be happening just a couple hours from now, because again, maximum hail size, I'm saying 2.25 inch hail, so a little over 2 inch hail is your maximum potential size. It's always possible it can be larger than that. Could bring it up close to tennis balls. I almost did, but we're going to keep it to, again, I think that large quantity of hail is really going to keep the hail sizes closer to 2 inch in the maximum capacity. Pretty good chance of at least 1 inch hail. I got that moderate. I almost went high, especially for Colorado Springs and areas just south of Denver, like Castle Rock or Centennial, Littleton, and that low and moderate chance of that golf ball size hail or larger, and that's really just kind of pinpointing exactly where that's going to be. So again, possible for some storms today. Keep an eye out. We'll of course be here to do live coverage, especially with these storms likely happening in the late afternoon hours. It's much easier for everyone here at the office to cover these storms for you. So we'll be here covering it live, anything that happens. We'll do an update later if the storm's a little slow to get going and kind of give you a check-in on what to expect. And we can't forget about Illinois. Here's Chicago city forecast 69. So this one's gonna be a little bit later. So around dinner time through about sunset, you could see storms in the Chicago area up to golf ball size hail. And this will probably be primarily the western suburbs of Chicago, unless the city itself right along Lake Michigan is probably gonna be back closer to like Naperville and stuff. And then quarter size hails, that's the main chance for that moderate. I think a low chance of up to golf ball size hail, because I think a lot of these storms, there's quite a bit of rain in Chicago right now, and that might temper the instability for Chicago itself. So looking at that future radar here, we're going to start off showing the front range. Colorado right next to me. You see those storms, they form pretty quickly in the run here. Just a couple hours from now, you see this, we'll let it roll back, and here's the late night storms heading towards Kansas City. See the storms pop up pretty much right over Denver, and then you see multiple chances of storms coming through. So this is very similar to what you see in Colorado typically. You get the first round of storms come through, and then you might see a couple other rounds of storms rolling off the mountains, taking off. Some take off, some don't. Could see that chance for some storms. And then later on tonight, could possibly see some activity get towards Kansas City. I'm not super excited about it. It really looks more like a lot of rain and wind. Maybe some marginally severe hail around that quarter size. That's going to be late tonight after probably about midnight or so. So those chances, Kansas City, you got a chance, but I'm not really too excited about it for today. And moving up north a little bit more here in the Great Lakes, checking out that risk for storms here. You see them blowing up in far eastern Iowa and then pushing across northern Illinois, where you could see that pretty big hail upwards of golf ball size. Again, Chicago, again, right along Lake Michigan here. You see the storms take off, and then they kind of cluster together once you get towards Chicago. So that's honestly why I'm kind of holding back a little bit on Chicago itself. Other areas across northern Illinois, like Rockford, maybe even back towards Davenport, yeah, you have a better chance of seeing that bigger hail. We'll see how things play out for Chicago later on this evening. Of course, if we're here doing coverage for Denver, we might just switch over to Chicago. That'd be great, right? Great day. So that's what we're expecting for today. Going into your Saturday, we have 3 areas we're highlighting right now. Low chances at the moment. I think we could have a more interesting wind risk across the Great Lakes tomorrow. But right now I'm just doing a blanket statement, $1 to $50 size hail, maybe some ping pong ball size hail, anywhere from New York City back to Kansas City. Could see those storms, maybe some ping pong ball or golf ball size hail. We'll highlight that more for you guys tomorrow. Yes, Denver, you're at risk again for your Saturday. Again, low chance right now. This probably will trend up a little bit or trend down depending on how things play out, where the boundaries set up for tomorrow. And then some popcorn storms across the southeast for your Saturday. This could possibly see just little storms popping up, that quarter size hail. I mean, we've been seeing these in Georgia a couple times so far this June. More of that's expected for your Saturday afternoon. And finally, we do have a chance for some hail up here in Idaho and Montana, kind of behind my hail forecast map sign. This looks like fast moving storms, $0.25 size hail as well. So we'll be breaking this down for you more tomorrow. Wouldn't be surprised if we pop in a couple more colors into the risk with maybe up to some of that golf ball size hail. But right now, things are looking a little messy at the moment, a little too marginal for me to really pinpoint where I think hail is going to be bigger. I do know that we won't go bigger than $0.25 size hail in probably like Pennsylvania. So that's what we're expecting for your Saturday. Here's your future radar. We're going to go east to west here, starting here in the northeast. See those storms forming in the afternoon hours. More clusters, and that's really going to minimize that hail size potential. So really more around that quarter size hail with gusty winds coming towards the New York metro area, across the tri-state area and into Pennsylvania, pushing a little bit further to the west into the Great Lakes region. See a lot of storms blowing up here across Indiana, Ohio, parts of Illinois, and even by St. Louis. We'll be watching this carefully. St. Louis kind of has my attention a little bit for tomorrow. Really depends on storm mode. If we can stay less clustered and more isolated, that will increase your chances for hail larger than maybe about $0.50 size. And finally, here across the Central Plains and parts of Colorado, you can see the storms forming tomorrow afternoon, more coming off that front range. A little more isolated, not as intense looking as today, but there is a chance we could see storms again across Colorado for your Saturday. Sunday's looking a little marginal as well. We'll give an update on that probably tomorrow, especially if there's activity today. We'll probably have a video tomorrow. Check us out on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. If you hit See First on Facebook, you won't miss any of our posts, especially if we go live for storms. Those aren't scheduled like these forecast videos are, so you don't want to miss out on any of that. So keep an eye on all of our social medias for today. Give us a call at 855-334-4245. Any comments, questions, or concerns you may have. You want to set up a training, your first time with Hailtrace, want to find out more, it's a great number to call. You can email us as well, info@hailtrace.com if you're not a fan of talking on the phone. And of course, you can find out more details at our website, hailtrace.com. Hope you guys have a great rest of your Friday, and hopefully you guys are all wanting me to come back in a couple hours, because that means we'll be doing some live coverage for Denver. We will be doing live coverage with any big storms that happen across Denver, Chicago, wherever it may be today. So keep an eye on those social media, however you prefer to watch us for that. Thanks for tuning in, guys. We'll see you later.